Hi everyone, my name is Stephanie Contreras, and this is my presentation on Chapter 1, The Rough Rider Saves College Football. This chapter looks at how college football was nearly banned due to its violent nature and how President Theodore Roosevelt played a key role in saving it. The book's main argument is that President Theodore Roosevelt's leadership helped prevent college football from being abolished in the early 1900s. At that time, the sport was facing serious flashbacks due to its violence, injuries, and even deaths. President Roosevelt believed in the value of football, but also saw the need to reform. His push for change led to the formation of what we now know as the NCAA. The chapter includes some shocking examples to support the argument. For instance, in just the year 1905, 18 players died and over 150 were seriously injured. While playing football, there was growing public outrage, and many colleges were thinking about banning the sport entirely. President Roosevelt, who owned sons played football, stepped in by inviting leaders from Harvard, Yale, and Princeton to the White House. He urged them to clean up the game, which eventually led to the creation of the Intercollegiate Athletic Association, the group that we would become and know now as the NCAA. How the book builds credibility. The book used historical records and press coverage from the early 1900s, included quotes from President Roosevelt and newspapers of that time, provided data on injuries and deaths to emphasize urgency, frames President Roosevelt not only as a lone hero, but a catalyst for institutional change. He was really thriving and really wanted to change this, especially since he had firsthand of how his sons enjoyed it and loved it, and he, as a parent, liked to enjoy watching them and support them through the whole game. And then they had quotes from President Roosevelt's speech. He called for a rigorous life, but also clean play. Uses historical newspaper coverage to show national panic over players' deaths, includes communication between college leaders and President Roosevelt showing behind-the-scenes influence. And now on the next slide, I have the quotes from the book and examples of the historical records that were in there as well. The book really built credibility by relying on historical documents, newspaper articles, and even Roosevelt's own speeches and letters. The use of specific data on injury adds weight to the argument. I appreciated that the author didn't just glorify President Roosevelt, but showed how he used his influence to spark institutional reform, not just personal opinion. So I have examples here on the slide if you guys are interested. Quotes straight out from the book, the statistics of injuries, historical newspaper coverage, and communication between President Roosevelt and college leaders. And this shows that he really pushed for schools to clean up the sport and not just get rid of it all around schools, but maybe entirely in the whole world. Personal takeaway, I found it really interesting that Roosevelt, a president, got involved in college football to this degree. It shows how important the sport already was in American culture. Him being a dad of 2 football players, he felt firsthand how proud he was on the stands, and from hearing from his sons, I'm pretty sure they've told him how the game makes them feel as players. And he fought for it, him being the president, having a bigger voice. And at the time, he was the biggest, so he knew he had power to be able to change this. But I was also founding disappointing that so many people had to be seriously hurt or even die, many died, before any changes were made. It raised questions about how much risk we're willing to accept for entertainment and how far things have to go in order for someone to actually step their foot down and say, hey, this is an issue. And then it being someone's interest that he was like, no, my sons love this, I have to speak out now. He could have done it before, someone could have stopped before all these deaths were expectedly going to happen. So here's my question for the class. Do you think a sport should be allowed to continue if it's proven to be deadly, even if people love it? Or do you think President Roosevelt was right to protect football, or did he wait too long to act? Thank you so much for watching my presentation. I look forward to hearing your thoughts in the discussion forum. Thank you.